Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me Swastika, and in this video I will basically be going over the Attorney General of India and the Advocate General of the state with you. So the basic idea and the basic purpose behind doing this video is that these are commonly asked topics from Indian polity that are asked in almost all the papers from your UGC NET Political Science Paper 1, Paper 2 to your Masters in Political Science JNU, Delhi University, SAU entrance papers, and also in your UPSC papers. So everything and anything Indian polity is key. You have to do it, and this is one of the important topics. So I will be going over with it with you today. So, a little about myself. I have done my master's in political science from Jawaharlal Nehru University, CPS. I have done my bachelor's in political science from Delhi University. In case you like my content, please don't forget to subscribe and you can comment your doubts down below if you have any. So, I have basically referred to Lakshmikant. So, people who are into the political science background know that Lakshmikant is a staple book for Indian polity, and from that I am basically referring to chapter number 50 and chapter number 51. I am then going to refer to the Constitution of India and also my class notes. So without any further ado, let's start off with the Attorney General of India. So this is obviously a constitutional post and it comes under Article 76. The Attorney General of India is the highest law officer in the country. He is also the Chief Law Officer of Government of India. He is also the first advocate of India. So the basic purpose of an AGI being there is that he has to give advice on legal matters and perform other duties of legal character as are assigned to him by the president. तो कुछ नहीं याद करना ना कुछ रटना है, बस ये पता होना चाहिए जैसे कोई तुम्हें बोले अटॉर्नी जनरल ऑफ इंडिया, द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट शुड कम टू योर माइंड इज लॉ ऑफिसर. The second thing that should come to your mind is Article 76, and that is it. The current Attorney General of India is K.K. Venugopal. He is the 15th in number and he was appointed by late President Pranab Mukherjee, who was the 13th President of India. So let's look at the appointment and the term because sometimes tricky questions are asked from here. So the Attorney General of India is basically appointed by the President. He is qualified to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court. So I will discuss his qualifications also. Chalo, I'll just discuss it right now. So his qualifications are that he must be a citizen of India. He should have at least 5 years been a judge of the High Court or at least 10 years an advocate of the High Court, and has to be, in the opinion of the President, a distinguished jurist. The term of the office is not fixed. He holds office during the pleasure of the President. So guys, this is super important, this point, that the term of the office of the Attorney General of India is not fixed and that he holds office during the pleasure of the President. This means that he can be removed by the President at any point of time. So if this is your AGI, then this is President, the father of AGI. If the President is not there, if the government resigns, then the AGI automatically resigns. The AGI can only hold office when the President of India is there. He may quit anytime by submitting a resignation to the President. So the Constitution does not contain the procedure and the grounds of his removal. He quits when the government has to resign. So let's go back to the previous slide. In this previous slide, we will see that the current AGI, who is K.K. Venugopal, is the 15th in number. But he was appointed by Pranab Mukherjee, who is the 13th president. So this difference in numbers means that the AGI can only function and work if the president gives his assent to him. If the president says no, or if the government says no, that K.K. Venugopal can't be there or some other AGI can't be there, then he has to resign. So he has a certain number of duties as well. As we have already discussed, he gives advice to Government on India on legal matters which are referred to him by the President. He performs duties of legal character and he has to discharge functions conferred on him by the Government of India. The President assigns him the following duties. He has to appear on behalf of the Government of India in all cases in the Supreme Court in which the Government of India is concerned. He has to represent Government of India in any reference made by the President to the Supreme Court under Article 143. He also has to appear in High Court in any case in which the Government of India is concerned. So anytime there is any issue with the Government of India, the Government of India needs any legal advice, the AGI has to be present there. So he is basically acting as the person who discharges functions conferred to him by the Government of India, primarily of legal matters and functions that are legal in nature. Moving on, he enjoys a certain number of rights. This is important. They can ask you this in MCQ, so pay attention. The right of the audience in all courts of the territory of India. He has the right of audience. This means that he can go to any court in any part of India and he can just sit there and listen and be present as the audience. He also has the right to speak and to take part in the proceedings of both houses of the parliament or their joint sitting and any committee of the parliament of which he may be named a member but without a right to vote. So this is interesting and this is an important point and this is something that can be asked in MCQ objective questions. The question that they can ask you is that does the AGI have the right to vote in the proceedings of the parliament, in a joint sitting of the parliament? And the answer for that is no. Even though the AGI is allowed to speak and he is allowed to take part in the proceedings of both the houses of the parliament, he cannot vote. He also enjoys all immunities and privileges that are available to the member of the parliament. So we have to keep that in mind. The next is the Solicitor General of India. So this is basically a statutory provision. AGI is a constitutional provision. The Solicitor General of India and the Additional Solicitor General of India are basically appointed by a special committee of the parliament and their main function is to assist the AGI in his fulfillment of his official duties. Moving on, the Advocate General of the state. So guys, just like we did the president, who was exactly like the vice president, and also vice versa, the vice president basically mimicking the functions and duties of the president. The Advocate General of the state mimics the functions and duties of the Attorney General of India. It's just on a lesser level, on the level of the state, that we have the Advocate General, and obviously the article shifts to Article 165. But the Advocate General of the state is the highest law officer of the state. He's appointed by the governor, just like the Attorney General is appointed by the President. The qualification is that he must be a citizen of India, he must have a judicial office for 10 years or must have been an advocate of High Court for 10 years. The term of his office, just like the term of an AGI's office, is not fixed and he only holds it during the pleasure of the governor and he can quit by submitting resignation to the governor. So this is interesting. He also has to give advice to the government of state upon which legal matters have been referred to him by the governor. He has to perform other duties of legal character that are assigned to him by the governor. So again, everything related to legal matters of the state and of legal character duties that are given to him by the governor, the Advocate General of the state performs just like the Attorney General of India performs. So he has to discharge functions conferred to him by the Constitution of India. He can appear before any court of law within the state and he has the right to speak and to take part on proceedings of both houses of the state legislature of which he may be named member but without the right to vote. He also enjoys all privileges and immunities as members of the state legislatures. So this is the last slide and this is the most important slide because it has a list of articles that you have to absolutely remember. NTA just loves asking random articles, and so it is important to remember these, because in all probability from the Constitution of India they are going to ask you one article or another. So Article 76 talks about the Attorney General of the state. Article 88 talks about the rights of Attorney General as respects the House of the Parliament and its committee. Article 105 talks about the powers, privileges and immunities of AGI. Article 165 talks about Advocate General of the state. Article 177 talks about the rights of Advocate General as respects of the houses of state legislature and its committee. So let's go through a quick recap. The Attorney General of India is almost exactly like the Advocate General of the state, except that the advocate is at a lesser level, I dot E dot the state, whereas the Attorney General is at a higher level, that is all over India. Their primary function is to perform legal duties that are discharged to them by the government of India. In the case of Attorney General, he takes pleasure and holds pleasure during the term of office of the president, and during the Advocate General the same happens during the term and the pleasure of the governor. They have certain rights, that is that they have the right to audience in all courts on the territory of India. They also have the right to speak and take part in all legal proceedings, in joint sessions, in joint sittings of the both houses of the parliament. And they do not have the right to vote, that is important to remember. And obviously we have discussed qualifications that are almost the same. So thank you for watching this, guys. In case you found this useful, please don't forget to subscribe, and in case you have any questions you can comment, and it's going to be absolutely great. Thank you for watching.